Hey guys, Tarot here bringing you some Master League action today. This is from the first qualifying tournament of the finals. So there are 4 qualifying tournaments. The players who do the best out of those end up in the finals playing for the big bucks. So from the south we have AshaBlois playing as Soviets, who has airborne troops, armored assault and guard motor. And from the north we have IncaUna playing as Osir, who has Festung armor, Jaeger infantry and a lightning war. This is from the semi-finals of the first qualifier, this one. And I figured I'd cover this one because I kind of wanted to see, maybe spoilers for the next game, but IncaUna play USF. I've seen so much Ost versus Soviets in tournaments lately. I was looking to see how USF goes. So yeah, that's the grand plan.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
So trying to get some sandbags up in the center, denied there by the MG42 rolling through the middle of Inca. Jumps into the building. Asha conceivably could hear the windows smashing in the fog. Combat engineers are stalling out behind heavy cover over there. Small sprinkling of machine gun fire. And conscripts do get away though without being suppressed. Trying to put some sandbags down. Map is Mill Road, by the way. This is the autumn variant. I think it's like very, very, very close to being the same as the ladder map, whereas a lot of the other maps have received quite a few more changes. Here we go, Asha, working that conscript across to the other side, going for a 4 conscript start as well, which has somewhat fallen out of favor, maybe suggesting that we're going to see airborne troops instead of guard motor this one. I imagine there is some kind of Commander Terminator going on. Flamethrower popping. Asha not hanging around. Not trying to go for like a sweeper on that combat engineer. Looks like this is one of the changes. Some shrubbery, extra shrubbery on this. Slight reworking. The doors on this side of the building rather than on this side. Interesting. Asha pulling back though, didn't really get forced to retreat with anything. Probing for another angle. Suppression kicking in on this squad. Asha not so lucky this time. Even with that short burst. Conscripts winning in the north though, so Asha could harass the munitions point. Getting some nice damage done from behind that sandbag and well cover. Getting some nice sandbags up down in the south as well. We got a whole bunch of troops coming down there for Inca though. Going for a 4 grenadier start. Does manage to complete the sandbags. But does also need to get out of there. Always have to worry about somebody going for like a body block on you.
We will follow their tracks to victory. T-34-85 tanks are now ready for use.
Chasing you down on retreat. But no, going for the guard motor. Not what I was expecting with the 4 conscript start. I was definitely expecting airborne troops.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Interesting. As the medic's up, healing up out the back. But yeah, Inca haven't gone for the extra grenadier. Doesn't have to start building his tech super early. Does end up delaying the 222. But it seemed to be more popular in the tournament play these days. More greens instead of 3. Maybe suggesting as well that we're not going to see Jaeger infantry this game. Since you generally go with 3 grenadiers, wait until you get 2 command points and then get the Jaeger command squad as the 4th man. 4th squad. Okay, so Asha trying to make a bit of a breakout down the south, but outnumbered, and there goes the rifle nade. Asha gets out of there. Didn't take too much damage from that. But Asha, you know, from Korea, doesn't have the best ping, kind of like myself. I think they said they were on the US East server. So dodging grenades can be tricky. 222 in production. Asha himself hasn't got even tier 2 down yet. Not at 2 command points yet either, so can't bring in the guards.
Sector has been cut off.
Doesn't have anti-tank grenades either. Molotov here would have been really nice, but getting out muscled at the moment. You can see floating a lot of manpower, and this is, you know, can be perilous.
Casualties.
Mind slowing things down up in the north. But yeah, no, only one squad to build tech with can be troublesome sometimes, the Soviets.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
And now Asha
Guards troops are standing by.
getting his fuel harassed. Well, there we go. 2 command points come off. And here comes the heavy mortar and guards. Don't see this too often. 222 on the field now for Inca. But, you know, 6 minutes 30-ish. Not an incredible timing. No med bunker yet as well for Inca. Full steam ahead into army. Grenade out. Late dodge, but gets way alright. Oh, big damage from the heavy mortar. Grenadiers on retreat there. Here come the guards, but we've got quite a few grenadiers there. Guards might be able to win. Sounds like they've already got the DPs, and those grenadiers were very low. And the heavy mortar getting a lot of work done. 222 backing out. Do have quite a lot of wire up on those sandbags though. But yeah, the heavy mortar shown its strength, getting a retreating in the north. Pushing back the machine gun, getting it a bit lower in the center. Quite another layer of sandbags, but the 222 looking to shut that down. Here come the guards. We have the pack and support over here as well. Inca was building that pack before the before he saw the heavy mortar guards combo. Once he saw that combo, you could probably expect that you're not going to see like a super fast light vehicle, like a quad, to try and counter the 222. So maybe didn't have to build a pack at this early of a timing. That's not a huge loss either way. Sandbags get destroyed down there. He's crawling about in the center, maybe providing some sight for the heavy mortar, trying to get its work done. Here comes a big wave of grenadiers, but you can see they're coming out on low, really paying the price for not getting that med bunker up, like I was talking about, and perhaps that's what the pack should have been, a med bunker instead. So this is going to cost quite a lot of manpower to Inca. PTRS on the ground there. MG on retreat, but as I was saying, no med bunker back there. Even with one extra model, it's still going to be very vulnerable to getting decrewed. Just a slow, methodical push from Inca on this side with the pack destroying the sandbags. Trying to open this up. Gotta watch for those rifle nades again. There goes another one. Actually, this time dodging a bit earlier. Have to, you know, he's kind of attuned to when Inca's throwing those rifle nades out now. Expecting them. Heavy mortar repositioning, facing the greens down the bottom, but they are full retreat. Does have the med bunker coming up now, so he's trying to conserve some manpower. I think that's for the best. I mean, very easily lose about 150 manpower there in no time at all. No, nothing's going to pick up PTRS. I suppose like the pyros might pick it up. That'd be about it. Yeah, Inca being pretty rifle nade happy. Is maybe struggling a little bit for munitions. No sweeper yet on the pyros, which, you know, against Soviets can be a bit of a liability. Sounds like the guards did end up picking up their second PTRS, came back down here. So it does mean that the 222 is going to look for a different angle.
The enemy is attempting to steal our
And
sector.
Inca going for a sniper now. Interesting. Maybe at this stage ordinarily we would see a second machine gun, but perhaps Inca doesn't favour going for that when the heavy mortar is already on the field. So goes for the sniper instead. Interesting choice. Asha does have tier 3 up at this stage, but you can see well past the fuel for a T70. Might be just going straight tier 4, and fair enough. I mean, Inca hasn't actually been putting on that much pressure with this. He's been playing very methodically, but Asha has been doing very well. You know, no Zis. To be defending this well with no Zis is very impressive. Is this coming in now? So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a straight tier 4 tick for Asha. And yeah, I'd say Inca should have been able to do a bit more damage than this. Where you see the impact that having so many sandbags has on the game. Makes it so much easier for Asha to hold on to the territory. The 222 I'd say has been not that effective so far as well. Perhaps could have done a touch more. It's not getting to work through the centre though. 2 kills already. But yeah, maybe that's why Asha going for this kind of start. You know, doesn't have a light vehicle, so doesn't really need the early sweeper to spot the telemines. Or perhaps has played Inca a lot and knows that he's not a telemine happy player. I don't think we've seen any come down yet. Opting for the rifle nades instead.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
So it was under a bit of pressure there, but does end up surviving. Decent flank from Asha. Gonna get the decap on the cutoff.
The territory
Well
is
done.
out of contact.
MG repositioning. Will reveal itself firing here, so maybe could allow the heavy mortar to get to work. It's actually under pressure though. Grenadiers coming through onto the cutoff themselves. Quite low in health, and Conscripts have a nice heavy cover position. Big damage from the Zis barrage, and he has to give up on the decap on the mines on retreat. And the Grenadiers go down and they drop their MG42. Asha could have picked that up with the conscripts. He doesn't have mobilized reserves on any of them yet, and the Grenadiers are going to wrap around and pick that up. Big mistake from Asha not picking up that dropped LMG. Oh boy, double LMG Grens now for Inca, but there we go, the mines. Working out nicely for Asha. He does have the sweeper, but couldn't push that far forwards to assist. Here goes another one. Can attack ground this with the 222. Save some time for the Pi sweepers so they can go do some capping instead. Not doing that though at the moment. So, first blood. Grenadier squad down.
The enemy is taking our territory.
222 operating through the centre. This is missing its first shot.
Our opponents are
Oh, and
seizing
Pi's
the
retreating.
sector.
No sweep on the mine. Uh-oh. I hope that doesn't come back to bite Inca later on. Mortar slamming down in the centre. Grenadiers getting a bit of a flank cooking up here. Rough nade out. Off to the left a little bit. Strange positioning from Inca. Doesn't end up doing too much damage really. I think there's 1 or 2 models down. Oh my god, the heavy mortar! No way! Oh, Inca. That's a nightmarish start. Grenadier down, and now the heavy mortar picks off his sniper. Do know that the snipers have, what is it, 82 health? 84 health? So they cannot get one shot by a mortar if it's at full health, but that sniper wasn't at full health. Down it goes. Heartbreaker for Inca. Locks into Lightning War. Good bit of damage there. Oh, a nice attack round follow-up. That was so close to death. I think if Asha had killed the 222 right there, that would probably just about be GG. Know that the medium tanks are starting to roll out now, so it does somewhat limit the effectiveness of the 222, but you know, it's a very helpful spotting tool, and can shut down movements on the flanks as well. Still has done very little damage. Vet 1, 4 kills. Would expect it to be Vet 2 by this stage. So I feel like Ash has done a very good job of limiting the damage from Inca. Inca playing out like a very, very methodical way. But maybe it's not quite damaging enough. He now has the tough go to try and fight a Panzer IV against a T-34-85. Lining up a shot. Grenadiers, no munitions for the Faust, so T-34 able to back away there. Heavy mortar slamming down now as well. Panzer IV rolling through the center. This is nearby, so is the T-34-85. Ooh, big shot on the guards. Panzer IV backing out. Comes out better off in that small trade there. And no, did end up running over that mine in spite of it being detected by the sweeper for a good minute and a half or so. Okay, T-34-85, even though it's on low, Ash is still finding some time to do some damage with it. He still only has that one combat engineer for repairs, but does have the vehicle crew repairs available in this commander. Oh boy, repairs get found. Inca very slow to react. He loses the Pio squad repairing. Uh-oh, not good at all for Inca. That was very sloppy. High squad down, has to rebuild that now. Panzer IV at the back, can't do anything to assist here. And Asha slowly tightening the noose, it feels like. I imagine we're going to see another T-34-85 next. And kind of close to the resources for that as well. And that's, oh my god. Inca sticks around for the decap. Before getting out of there with the Grenadier. That heavy mortar is lethal. Five kills, one of them the sniper. Huge amounts of health damage. Close call on the 222. Guards in firing positions, so strong. They are just crazy strong in firing positions mode. Boosts up their range. Drops their cooldown by 20-30%. So their rate of fire very, very high. Well, the Panzer IV back up. Fires out the back. Should be coming over to repair the 222. And now a Katyusha from Asha. Interesting choice. Maybe expecting Inca to go for like a second pack and try and stall out in that department. But he already had the heavy mortar. I think I'd probably go for the second T-34-85 myself. And then the time fuse now. Made out. Oh, good attack round through the building there. So quite often those don't end up working out, but on this occasion, does get through, and then the time fuse doing a bit of damage to the rear armor as well. Inca did go for the green rebuild as well. Back in the south, covering the green cap. It's one shot through on the T-34. Pointer draining from Inca. Pushing into the center, just like every time Inca tries to come into the center, there's a new set of sandbags down there, making life very difficult for him. That's what it's like at the higher levels, just always running into sandbags. Gotta have your pack ready to blast them away. Conscripts, 7 men, Vet 3 should be able to beat these Grenadiers even though they've got the LMG. Need at least Vet 2 to be able to win that one. Second pack is going to be the choice for Inca, so he's really honestly just playing into Ash's hands here, which he's probably unaware of since the Katyusha hasn't fired yet. Oh boy, he's pretty much in pack range, not that he had sight of it. Mark vehicle activated on the Panzer IV, pack setting up. And here comes the Katyusha. Calculated move. Bounces one shot on the Panzer IV, so it survives. Katyusha nearly knocking out the pack. Oh, conscripts trying to come in from the side. Anti-tank grenade could have finished the job there, but the suppression catches them. And that was a very close call indeed. Heavy mortar slamming down now though. Triple cap against Inca. Needs some healing on those packs, otherwise they're just going to go down to the next heavy mortar shell. Very risky stuff here. Conscripts coming in from the rear. Double packs on the run. MG Grenadiers working nicely, but one heavy mortar shell could turn that around. MG manages to get the suppression off before forced away from the flame damage. But yeah. Ooh, Inca playing right into the hands of Asha there. Oh, and the heavy mortar catching him out the back as well. The double packs. Giving, and this is what I was talking about, running into the sandbags yet again. Sandbags coming up in the center. Making life very difficult for Inca. Inca, I guess, trying to go for a Tiger stall. Hasn't got Battle Phase 3 yet though, so that's another big chunk of resources. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was here for Inca going for that second pack. I mean, Asha, I suppose technically was vulnerable to a second Panzer IV. Not once the second T-34-85 comes out though. So Asha, I guess, just felt so comfortable in his position against Inca, decided to go for that Katyusha early. It did end up working out well since Inca did go for that second pack. Sandbags quickly cleared off by the packs. Inca making a big push down the south. Triggering some mines. Didn't go for the sweep on the second pyro. That's out for repairs at the moment. Katyusha barrage coming down with the heavy mortar as well, and the pack gets decrewed. Asha cruising his way forwards. Combat engineers did go down though. I think they were planting a mine, which ended up backfiring on them. Double 85s in the south. The pack isolated, unsupported. And Inca knows that that is the end. Panzer IV was getting repaired, coming back out, but yeah, pack facing the wrong direction, swarmed on by double 85s. The other one decrewed by the Katyusha heavy mortar combo. That was GG. So, yeah, I think Inca just wasn't quite powerful enough during that phase. You know, you had 4 Grenadiers and the 222 against like just a squad of guards from Asha. I feel like he should have been able to get a lot more work done than he did during that phase. Asha too strong, I guess. But yeah, a little bit unfortunate. sniper going down to the heavy mortar. But yeah, overall, a few wipes going the way of Asha in the early phase. Rock steady play from Asha, and Inca unable to answer back. GG. So here we are for game 2 of the series, and this is what I was talking about. IncaUna playing as US forces, and he's picked recon support. Very excited to see how this one goes. Meanwhile, Asha from the north picking Ostrupen. Interesting. I guess this is a USF counter pick. The Ostrupen, you know, are still viable. Still, I'd say one of the top 4 picks in these tournaments as Os there. Which is pretty interesting. I suppose that just shows how strong they were before the last round of nerfs. The cover bonus got dropped in the last set of nerfs. So just going for a 3 rifle start here. It's just kind of interesting. But we might see some Pathfinders, which I'd say are at their strongest against Os there, because they do roughly go toe-to-toe with Grenadiers. I suppose I don't know the Pathfinder versus Ostrooper matchup that well, but then you can use the excellent line of sight to outposition the MG42. Rifleman trying to sneak around the corner, but MG covering them up. Echelon meanwhile getting a lot of territory capped, but you can see that Ostroopen still get you off to a pretty strong start in terms of territory control. IncaUna already a little bit behind in that department, hasn't maybe like 1 or 2 standard territory points down. Gotta make sure that the okay, here we go, big old flank coming in. This is good work from Inca. Pyro's on the run. I've been charging their way forwards, but we do have a couple more Ostroopen still lingering around. It looks like they're going to have enough firepower to beat these rifles. MG sitting up down here as well. This Ostroopen, though, does also get forced away. The echelon, meanwhile, and we've got a 4 Ostroopen staff Asha, so it's a lot of firepower early on. Inca getting the lieutenant out at a really good timing. Let's see if that is enough to hold on to the cutoff. It's not going to get there in time. Rear echelon not that strong in combat, soft retreating off to the heavy cover, try and hold on to this position. But that's good news for, you know, Asha did send the machine gun up there to threaten the suppression, so it does allow the lieutenant to get to work on this Ostroopen and open up the capture on his cutoff again. Meanwhile, Asha finding some time to do some capping with that low health Ostroopen out in the corner. That's a very good play from him. And Inca hasn't found time to cap his munitions to this point. Is going to get a very fast M20 out though. Pyro's out on the map capping themselves. Battle phase 1 only coming through now for Asha. A little bit late starting that up. Could allow this M20 to do quite a lot of damage. Asha still has to build tier 2 and then build a 222 or pack to respond. Doesn't have the pack build time bulletin either, which maybe he could have used instead of the Grenadier cooldown bonus, since he's not using Grenadiers. Still about a command point off the supply drop, so that might be a bit of a stretch, but that does give you some very good value if you can get to it. Comes the M20. Echelon going for the cap in the center. M20 getting to work long range.
Enemy is taking our territory.
Machine gun covering the south. Rifleman might just run into the edge of its sight range there. Oh no, they squeaked by. Big retreat there, but did manage to get some sandbags up. Rifleman coming through with the flank. One of them might catch this machine gun just a bit out of position. Actually a little bit late packing that up. Now under pressure by the double rifleman. I think he's going to have to retreat there. We've got the Ostroopen coming through. There's been a reworking of the cover positions up here, by the way. Light cover instead of heavy over there. Maybe a few less heavy cover positions over here as well. 20 coming to the north to assist in this engagement. Otherwise, the rifle squad behind light cover definitely would lose this. Might still lose it. Soft retreats off to go for the cap. Not ideal for the M20 though to be blasting away at long range. I must be worried about a 222 arriving. You can see it in the build at the moment. But yeah, definitely could have been on the field by now. So Inca is right to try and stay at range. Play safe against the impending 222. No ambo yet for Inca. Might be the next purchase, going for the 50 cal at this stage. And that's the benefit of Lieutenant, you know, between the bazooka on the Lieutenant and the 50 cal alongside anti-tank grenades, generally can do enough to hold off a 222 without needing an anti-tank gun. Oh boy, those riflemen are going to drop like flies. There's going to be a lot of lost manpower for Inca. Ooh, 222 coming in, looking to pile on the pain. Lieutenant is still in the north. 50 cal spinning around. Asha hoping for the wipe here. Diving in, two of these riflemen on death's door. But he doesn't manage to get either of them if he switched focus fire over to the one that was a little bit further back that was on lower health. I think he could have got the kill there. That was a very, very lucky break for Inca. Easily could have lost both of those there. Ostrupen have vetted up now, so can start to plant some sandbags themselves. Makes them much tougher to dislodge. Cal jumping into the building. Good bit of damage there. Ostrupen, you know, don't have rifle nades, so they're powerless against a machine gun in a building like this. And Asha is going to go for that airdrop. So saying it is very good value for money. High Flamer coming through. Can afford to go for the Flamer since up against US forces. Typically don't plant mines. Oh, there we go. Heavy cover gets destroyed by the bazooka. And Inca making a big push up here in the north, away from the MG42, which is in the building. So he's able to get this territory quite smoothly. And because he knows the MG42's down there, he can play a little bit more confidently. Doesn't have to worry about running into that suppression. There's reposition with that, but M20 finds it. Could get the decoy on it here as well. Staying at range though, playing safe. Suppression kicking in on both directions. Got the MG34 out there in the north now. Pack still at base, still reinforcing back up after getting airdropped in. Inca just inching his way forwards here. Two-pronged attack. Squeezes around the side of the machine gun. Maybe the angles are slightly different to what Asha expects on this map. Does seem to be maybe slightly smaller, this shot blocker. So that machine gun positioning doesn't end up working out, and Inca getting the cutoff on the back of that. Setting up shop. Oh wow, double light vehicles. Stewart second for Inca. Interesting. Doesn't end up going for the Greyhound, which is available on this commander, and did have the command points available for it as well. Greyhound does somewhat struggle, I would say, with the 222, since it has much lower armor than the Stewart. Oh, Asha trying to dive in here for the Faust. Might end up costing him his Ostrupen squad. And does. Well done there by Inca. Kind of baiting the Faust, really, wasn't it? Stewart coming around the corner. Finds the machine gun. Gonna force that away. Things are looking really strong for Inca at the moment. Pack missing. Oh boy, that's good luck for Inca. Takes a Faust though. 20 repairing up while capping. Got the 50 cal over here, but that rear echelon dying very fast. 50 cal setting up. 50 cal's on low though, could also get decrewed. 222 forcing it off. Oh, he's going for the triple light vehicle push. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Goes to the Greyhound as well. I played against this quite a few times myself. I've talked about it, but this is the first time I've seen it in the tournament, at least lately. Triple light vehicles, that's a lot of pressure. Asha having lost one of those Osttroopen. Struggling. And yeah, one of the good things is, you know, between the M20 and the Greyhound, just incredible amounts of sight on those two vehicles makes it relatively easy to outposition machine guns and anti-tank guns because of that very high sight. Ah, yes, Asha has gone for Battle Phase 2. I was like, it feels like he should have more manpower here. Maybe he could build a second pack. But trying to tech up at this stage. Push out a tank. Talamine down, that would actually work very well. Inca, once again, very late getting sweepers. No sweeper to this point. Actually, with boatloads of munitions for mines as well. Not having the LMGs available quite yet. Can't get them just now. Battle Phase 2 has completed. And here we go, pushing in with the light vehicles. Has the cluster bombs ready as well. 7 command points. Cluster bombs called in right out the back. 222 going down. The light vehicle swarming in on the pack. That gets decrewed. Bombing its own Greyhound though. Down it goes. Stunning both his own light vehicles. They are going for the kill on the decrewed pack. Lieutenant wrapping around. Asha going for a second pack.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And down it goes. Cancels the second pack. Building up his tech instead. Good timing on that attack from Inca. Could have kept that Greyhound alive, but big damage, forcing Asha completely off the map, destroying the pack at a crucial timing. And Asha is struggling in terms of manpower to field himself a vehicle. Actually, just like reinforcing stuff as well, but he might delay the reinforcements. Just go full steam ahead on a tank. Yeah, that's what you have to look out for at this kind of timing. You know, you're trying to stretch towards your medium tank, and the triple light vehicles can apply just a huge amount of pressure. And you can end up in this kind of situation. Asha does just have enough, you know, you saw that 123 fuel. Might have had to consider going for a flak panzer or maybe a Stug otherwise if he didn't have enough fuel there. But yeah, ordinarily you might have to consider a second pack when you see these kind of double light vehicles. Oh, this is cheeky actually. Very forwards mine position. You can see Inca does have quite a lot of munitions in reserve. Has gone for a captain into anti-tank gun. Really looking to buckle down at this timing. Get a huge amount of damage done. Expecting the medium tank to be coming in because not much else Asha will be going for. Playing this defensively. If he was going for the pack, it would already be on the field and already would be pushing out about 30 to 40 seconds ago.
We are losing a sector.
So here we go. Tank gun is nearby. We've got a couple mines down from the M20. So let's see if those end up working out. Got the cluster bombs out the back. I'm just trying to get out of there. We've got anti-tank gun connecting. Oh boy. big damage onto the Panzer IV. The Pio's nearly going down, still alive though. LMG Ostrupen though actually shredding these USF troops who do not have weapon upgrades themselves. Their bars, maybe it'll be a different story. Anti-tank gun pushing forwards, misses its shot and bounces the second one. A stranglehold on the map at the moment for Inca. And Asha having to take a backward step while he repairs up that tank. Oh, there goes the Telemine. There goes the Stuart. Only has one light vehicle left now. Just the M20. No sweeper. He goes for it now. So late. I mean, Asha planted that a very long time ago. But let's see if maybe Inca can return the favor. You know, this M6 mine could be devastating. Do have the major out now for Inca. Seen some replays where, you know, I think it was Hero just spamming Greyhounds, just never ticking up. But I think this is a good juncture for Inca to make that tech up. I mean, he's pretty much there in terms of fuel. Just needs to save up a touch of manpower. The tank gun is there. Panzer IV rolling very close to that mine. If the mine was over here, that would probably be GG on the spot.
The peg gun is ready for orders.
Hunting down a trench now. Looking to maybe put the machine gun in that later on. Tank gun nearby, setting up and bouncing. Playing economically, not popping the AP rounds early. Those kind of pot shots. Going for the kill on the trench. M20 with excellent line of sight. Allow the anti-tank gun to get to work on that. Coming down to the bottom to do some more capping. Asha under 250 already. There it goes. Got the bazooka down here. And a Sherman going to be the option for Inca. Bazooka connecting there. And connecting again. Ordinarily, excuse me, ordinarily at this juncture as the US player, you might have to worry about a second medium tank going through, but because Inca's map control has been so commanding, it is not on the agenda. So Inca still has a good window before that second tank arrives. It looks like he's, you know, not going to go for those bars. Maybe just favoring spamming the cluster bombs instead, which is acceptable. Can be hard to dodge continuously. See how much damage that M20 is doing now. It's vetted up. Look at how quickly it rinses the MG. There's that mine. There it is. Close to it, but not quite there. Anti-tank gun is very far forwards. Now backing off, so the rifleman soft retreating away. Here comes the Sherman. We've got the pack nearby as well. Got a mortar out from Asha, which is interesting. I know that Asha does favour them against Soviets. Don't often see them that useful against US forces. Inca turning up the pressure. Mortar getting forced away. Could get decrewed here. Double squads. Yeah, there it goes. Cluster bombs. Close to the base. The squad does survive though, but the mortar getting stolen before the suppression kicks in. MG on MG violence. Got some Ostrup in a very curious position, but they're getting beat down by that M20.
We have 200 points remaining.
Okay, continuing on VP pressure. Riflemen do manage to find their way around the corner there. Forcing the retreat, going for the VP it looks like. Not going for the fuel, interesting. Asha is at the stage where you could consider building a Stug right now. Whether or not he does that though, it's another story. And Inca going for a second anti-tank gun at this phase. You know, if Asha still had that mortar, maybe the second anti-tank gun wouldn't be that strong, but he did manage to steal that. I think a second anti-tank gun here locks up the game. Oh, there we go. Talon spotted and detonated. Good sweeping finally from Inca. Sherman rounding the corner. Trading a couple hits. Got one anti-tank gun down there. That's the vetted one. Pack is down here as well, but that's under pressure from the M20. Going back in now though. Strippin providing sight from the building.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
I should just try to get something going. Pushing through in the center and the south. Backing off, getting some repairs done. The mortar though, coming back to bite Asha. Clears off the sandbags. Ostrippin unable to hold its position. BP pressure continuing. Double anti-tank guns. One of them bounces. And goes for an Ostwind. Interesting. It's up in the north at the moment. Sherman's heading up in that direction, so are the double anti-tank guns. The pack is somewhat nearby, but not quite able to assist. It's under pressure. Getting a few mortar shells. Low in health now. Does manage to snare the Sherman. Double anti-tank guns getting one shot off on the Flak Panzer. A lot of repairs now for Asha. Only has... oh no, does have a second pyro. Rifleman pushing through. Going for the cap in the south, but inside the building. Ostrippin fighting strongly. Before doing some repairs. The mortar again. Swinging things in Inca's favor. What a big deal that was. Asha losing that mortar, getting it turned against him. He shut down his team weapon play here, shut down his Ostrippin capping here, shut down the Ostrippin in the building over here. This mortar, a real thorn in the side of Asha. Look, it's already nearly vet 2. Second Sherman about to pop out for Inca now as well, and that's going to make it a lot tougher for the Flak Panzer to operate up against double medium tanks like that. Going to have to really be on point with his own pack positioning. Oh, lights mine there from the Ostrippin, I mean from the rear echelon. You don't see those too often. Oh, double anti-tank guns in the south. Oh, gets around the side of the silo. Very lucky break. Didn't even pop the blitz there. That was asking for trouble. Oh, the mortar. The mortar. His own mortar does him dirty.
100 points remaining.
Flak Panzer out of action now. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Flak Panzer decision overall. Like, I think if you're going for the Flak Panzer, you have to try and get really aggressive at that timing and just try and get a huge amount of damage done before the second Sherman arrives. But that's so hard when there's a second anti-tank gun out. You've got Ostrippin, they're not very good at pushing. Ostrippin and machine guns. They're not very good at aggressive pushing like that. I think I would have tried to hold on for a second Panzer IV myself, I know. things were looking a bit dire, but gives you just so much more freedom on how you operate your vehicles. Don't have to worry about your pack positioning quite as much. They could be in some trouble up here. Definitely tank guns lining up. This one popping take aim, boosting up the range. And down it goes. It's Vet 2. It's got that rate of fire boost. The Flak Panzer bites the dust in the north. That's the risk of trying to operate it on, you know, half health. Can go down just like that to a Vet 2 anti-tank gun. Oh, the cluster bombs nearly take down the Vet Pio. Sherman coming in from the side, and the double anti-tank guns, everything getting through the armor. There goes the Panzer IV as well. Looks like the mine at some stage got destroyed over here, right? And Inca just swarming in all over Asher. Asher's dropped the railway artillery. Has decrewed one, now both of the anti-tank guns, but he's just got nothing really to do anything. Oh wow, the railway scatters into the mortar, gets the decre on that as well. I think Asher might already have left here. Slash out. No. Well, here we go. GG. Well, you know, Inca showing us the strength of this triple light vehicle strategy, even up against, you know, one of the top 4 players in the world. Can be very, very powerful, tough to deal with. Caught Asher at just the right timing. I think that's the key to the strategy. Asher trying to tick up, trying to get out that medium tank. Inca striking hard up against just a single pack, no Shreks, very few telemines. Got a huge amount of damage done. Contained Asher pretty much in his base. Backed that up with the anti-tank gun with the captain. Did end up losing the captain at one stage, but you know, that's just so much infantry and light vehicle pressure. Kept Asher off the map for such a long period. Was able to tick up behind that, get the job done. I thought it was going to be one of these mines that was going to seal the game for Inca, but in the end it was just too much pressure. Asher fighting from behind, taking a couple of losses. I think losing his mortar, that was devastating. That thing, what, got a wipe, shut him down at every turn. That really hurt Asher, losing that mortar. GG, well played by Inca, showing us the strength of this US Forces strategy. We'll go on to the deciding match in this best of 3 series. So here we are for the deciding match of this semi-final. Yeah, on Nexus for this one, Inca did have the superior VP tally in his win, so he gets faction selection. He's gone with USF.
Rifle squad ready.
Interesting choice. Early tank trap up there. We can see actually Asher doing something which you don't see too often. MG into the north. Is wrapping around. Does have a heavy cover position, but I don't think he's going to be able to complete the capture there. You can see that Inca getting aggressive going on to the fuel on the other side, so it has left him vulnerable on his own fuel. It's an interesting little twist to the start of this match. Pies chasing down the rear echelon. Echelon can't afford to stop and fight. If they do, the Pies will win. Both players playing a bit of chicken there. Got the Pies backing away though.
Grenadier squad is ready.
Maybe going to put some wire off on that door. That'll be interesting. MG operating through the center. Early capture on the Muni's cut off. We can see Asher struggling a little bit for territory. This kind of strategy. It's going to try to lock up the north, though, it appears.
How can we help?
Thought this was a Commander Terminator, but we see recon support is still on the loadout here. Maybe he just won't select it. 3 Grenadiers versus 3 riflemen. No real surprises there. Inca very close to being able to bring in the lieutenant. Starts that up now. Well, I assume it's lieutenant. Yep. Could of course be the captain, I suppose. So interesting to see what is plan B for Inca. Once again, you know, if he was planning to go for Pathfinders, window on that is probably closed. Good bit of suppression, but can jump back into the building, do recover very quickly from suppression from inside a building. And Inca definitely with the superior territory control to this point. Trying to work his way onto the munitions cutoff at the moment. We've got 3 Grenadiers, going to try and get that defense going. And the riflemen inside the building do seem to be winning up there. 3v2, but riflemen are much better at this kind of range. They might be able to outmuscle the Grenadiers. Okay, soft retreats out of there. Interesting. Lieutenant hitting the field now. Try and bait him around this corner.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
And Asha does end up taking a good chunk of damage. Maybe not quite enough for Inca to win the fight though. It is containing Asha's movements, going for a 4 Gren start. Understandable, he's got off to a pretty slow start to this one. With the 3v2, should be able to win this fight quite handily. Not really trying to flank around that machine gun though. Holding strong, I thought the rear echelon might come for the wide flank. Lieutenant coming through the center, rifleman all sneaking around the side so he doesn't reveal himself. MG packing up now. This rifleman, I'm sure, is a bit of a surprise. Right on top of the machine gun. Taking a lot of damage on that machine gun. Lieutenant with the superior cover over here as well. Might see a rifle nade to try and win that. MG down to 1 model. Inca sticks around on the cutoff. It's the decap there. Lieutenant though actually doing quite poorly in this engagement. The Thompson model hanging around for a long time, which in this case is probably a liability. So he ends up losing that engagement, but you can see, look at how much territory control Inca's had to this point. And once again going for that fast M20. I think against a 4 Grenadier start like this, the M20 is a very sensible choice. Really pile on that hurt. This long line of sight, it's very handy as well. Now positioning your enemy's team weapons. And 4 Grenadiers means that a much slower 222 arrives to counter it. So I do like this strategy from Inca. Could take a Faust here from the Grenadiers. Gonna force them away nonetheless. Rifle squad into the retreat path as well, looking to maybe apply a bit more bleed. No, gonna go for the capture on the fuel point first and foremost. There's still just enough cover there. Bad wire off by Inca. He's able to hold out. And here comes the 222. Actually, you know, in spite of going for 4 Grens, this is still actually coming in at a pretty good timing. Considering how little fuel control Asha has had to this point, just kind of shows how strong just having all these standard territory points can be. Gets this out, you know, 6 minutes 30, that's a perfectly respectable 222 timing. And Inca, okay, so I guess there's no Commander Terminator going for recon support again. Interesting. I suppose Asha does also have Ostrup in his loadout. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Commander Terminator then, I guess. Maybe Commander Terminator, they're only applying to the Eastern Front faction since they're the most popular. Could be the case. Pretty sure, like, Commander Terminator was not applied to Brits, at least, in one of the previous tournaments. Oh, gets close enough for the Faust. It could be very bad news for Inca. The 222 rotating across. You do have a rifle squad there. Can threaten the snare, and the Stuart coming down to try to keep things safe as well. Oh, Stuart doing giving some donuts. Is in position to keep things safe. Coming down to deal with this Grenadier now. Very late getting the LMGs is Asher this game. Doesn't have him on any of his squads yet. Also doesn't have a mid bunker up yet. Funneling all his manpower into troops, going for the pack first, which is a good idea. But, you know, sometimes with this 4 Grenadier style, you can find yourself a little bit short. You know, either delaying your 222 by a lot or delaying your mid bunker. Got to make the right decisions on which one to delay, given the game's circumstances.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Game 20 into the north now. Chipping away at the Grenadiers. MG's just on the absolute max of its range. That's why it's doing those super short bursts. Can sometimes be a little bit buggy at that range against a building. And Asher having to concede territory in the north. Looks like he has spent his munitions. Triple LMGs is the option. A little bit late getting them going though. I imagine a med bunker will probably be next. Got sweepers much earlier this time for Inca, which is a welcome sight. Pack heading up to the north. LMG Grenadiers working quite nicely, but they're so low on health without that medic bunker. Pack can't quite find the angle around the side of that wall either. Good play from Inca, and here we go. He's getting the Greyhound. Going to try apply this triple light vehicle pressure once again. Bunker coming up. Did go for a third LMG though, instead of medics, which of a flamethrower. That's what it was, which I think is a mistake. Should have been funneling that into the bunker, because he still needs some munitions spare to have access to Faust as well, especially against a triple light vehicle push. Want to have Fausts, probably 2 of them as well. So I think that flamer was a mistake. Greyhound in the bottom. Asher suffering from the triple cap at the moment. More suppression kicks in though. 50 cal next from Inca. Pretty similar build path. I think last time he might have got the 50 for the Greyhound, but very similar build path. Faust was available there for Asher, but doesn't pull the trigger on it. Echelon, left on the capture circle. They're going to go down. He retreats them, but still maybe could go down to the Grenadiers on retreat. Yes, they do. Pack inching its way forwards, gets a shot through. As much pressure as this is also a lot for Inca to have to micro. You can see that taking its toll. Re-echelon going down. Second pack this time from Asher, so he's not going to make the same mistake twice. Inca, curiously enough, going for a rebuild on the re-echelon.
Rear echelon troops on the front line.
I guess he wants to have those sweepers. Telemine is disastrous for this kind of build. Don't think we've seen any from Asher, and perhaps Inca could have a read that Asher doesn't have any telemines. He's missing an LMG on one of his Grenadiers. Hasn't had healing. His troops have been coming out onto the field on low health multiple times. But I suppose it is also possible that Asher gave up healing or a weapon upgrade to go for a telemine. Either way, this has delayed Inca's pressure by a minute or two, having to go for the rebuild on this re-echelon. Still not there this time for the MA3 cluster bombs. Has been a slightly lower command point game to this point, so Inca, if he's making that big aggressive push, he doesn't have those bombs to lean back on. Could be an idea for him to actually tick grenades at this timing. I find that they're quite helpful when making these big aggressive pushes. You can just slam down a grenade on your opponent's team weapon position. And here we go, Inca making it happen, wrapping around the side of the pack. Takes a couple shots. 222 could take down the Greyhound because of that. Throughout the cluster. Oh boy, the second pack's back there. This is just going horribly for Inca. Uh-oh. Stewart surviving. Faust. Pack misses. M20 smoking. 222 gonna swarm in for the kill. He lost a rifle squad amongst all this as well. And there goes the M20. Oh, that was no good. That's pretty much disastrous. It couldn't have gone, I think, any worse for Inca. He didn't kill anything. I don't think he decrewed any team weapons, so he didn't even reset the vet. Didn't kill any light vehicles. No, didn't gain any territory control. And that's what's going to happen. But that's what I was talking about, you know. Inca didn't have the cluster bombs to try and like force the team weapons to dodge, or otherwise they would get bombed out. Didn't have grenades like I was talking about to force stuff to move or quickly get decrewed. So that push would end up going horribly wrong for him there. No weapon racks as well to boost up the firepower of his riflemen. Grenadiers are a little bit more powerful than the Osttrooper generally. So that same kind of tactic just did not work at all this time for Inca. This time though, going for a major instead of making a sidestep at the captain stage. Battle phase about to complete though for Asha. A little bit strapped for manpower to build a tank, but won't be too far away. Definitely going to get his medium tank a long time before Inca gets his.
Our industry grows to support us.
But yeah, it's going to be hard to recover from for Inca, even though he did have such good territory control. Trying to save his resources at the moment. I think he probably has to go for the captain, even though he doesn't want to. He needs the anti-tank gun. Could do with an extra squad now after losing one of his riflemen. Nice position there for Asher out the back.
The territory is out of contact.
Second 50 is going to be the option for Inca, which is also, you know, a way to try and contain the LMG Grenadiers. Fair enough, but I do think he needs that anti-tank gun. You can see, you know, without the MA3 cluster bomb spam this time, there's munitions for days at this stage. Really, you know, it's like a whole area of the game which Inca hasn't been able to take advantage. Don't think we saw any of those mines go down from the N20 this game either, which could be really nice. Especially as we come into the medium tank phase now. Asha once again did go for the flamethrower, so M20 mines would have been very strong. And could, you know, if Asha runs over a mine, could slow down the game enough for Inca to get his own tank in response. Looks like Asha's tank though delayed more than I was expecting. He didn't like, you know, hold off on reinforcing his troops to try and speed up his manpower to get that tank out earlier, and that does allow Inca enough time to get out his own tank. The difference is here, Asha's tank backed up by double anti-tank guns. Inca's with 0. So he's definitely way behind. when it comes to the vehicle engagements. Inca's hopes now lie on a devastating cluster bomb attack. Okay, here comes the Panzer IV. Oh, and that's a nasty start. Rifleman 3 models down immediately. Before pushing in aggressively here. Doesn't have the machine gun upgrade on that yet though. Telemine coming down in quite an aggressive position. Could work quite nicely for Asha. And some rearmament damage done. We've got the bazooka down there as well. But Inca just has no confidence at the moment. You know, with both the Greyhound and the M20 down, he's missing the things that were providing him with that long line of sight. Helps him have a lot more confidence that there aren't anti-tank guns waiting around the corner. So that might have been an opportunity to dive in and kill the Panzer IV, but Inca, playing it safe, doesn't opt to try and attempt that. Which I think is fair enough, but maybe if he had like an M20 spotting, knew the location of the double packs, he would have gone for it there. Rifle nade cancelled. Cheeky stuff there from Asha. Cal, a slight reposition. Asha backing off. Sherman drops one model. And then backing off itself. Okay, weapon racks for Inca. I wonder if he went for double Zooks on the Lieutenant. So he's finally burned through most of his munitions. At this stage, you know, a lot of these Grenadiers are already at Vet 3, the Riflemen not quite there yet. So they will continue to struggle until they close that Vet gap. Oh, and there's the Telemine. Uh-oh. Pack setting up. Connects once. Sherman on one shot now. As before, maybe going to try wrap around and knock it out. The bazooka's getting suppressed here by the machine gun. The AoE suppression. Looks like Inca's going to keep that safe. Panzer IV though. Oh, just another nasty hit from it. Rifleman on the run. Inca though with a good amount of VP pressure. Asha down to 210, so maybe Inca can just play tight and squeeze this one out on the VPs, even though he is behind on the army fights. Asha about to field that second Panzer IV. Inca struggling for manpower at this stage. It's often the problem with these compositions as US forces in the late game. LMG Grenadier is so efficient.
Enemy forces are now down to 200 points.
You're always having to close the distance, always dropping models on the way in. Tough as the US player if you don't have that extra sight, but we'll have it soon, I think, right? Is it Vet 2?
Under fire. The enemy is overrunning one of our
I think
capture
it's Vet
points.
2 on the major where he gets the boosted sight, so that will help out a lot. And I think the Steward also gets bonus sight, maybe Vet 3? So if you can hit those veterancy stages, there's a Telemine there, it's just a weird bush. That will help out a lot. The extra sight is going to be a big deal in this match. Or should be a big deal. Sherman just about repaired back up to full, and does have to go up to full to repair off a engine crit from a mine. Job with the Stewart hiding around the corner. We've got quite a lot of bazookas back here. I'll fend off this aggressive maneuver from Asha. A lot of pressure. Bazooka's doing well. Oh, could be the end of the 2-2-2. Nicely done from Inca coming in from the other side. Double packs are not in position to defend. And the bazooka's getting some major work done. Inca coming in with the cluster bombs. Asha dodging away quite effectively. Doesn't take much. Double packs lining up on the Sherman. Only one connects. No, both connect. But Asha decides not to push in Ultimately, the cluster bomb's not quite working out there for Inca. Treating with the machine gun, because even though he would beat the Grenadiers, does have to worry about the rotation of the Panzer IV. And very strange, Asha going for no machine gun on either of these tanks. It just makes him so much more reliable at bleeding infantry. I don't understand that. No commander lock-in at all from Asha either. Hasn't needed it. I suppose maybe Spearhead would be a reasonable option. Smoke on the Panzer IV. And the frag bombs. Okay, yep. Frag bombs for the team weapons. What a reversal. A minute ago, this is the kind of territory control Inca had. And now Asha taking almost the entire map.
A capture point is under attack.
Inca does manage to side tick, get out that captain, save his way towards an anti-tank gun, so now he can finally force off these Panzer IVs without taking crazy manpower bleed from his bazooka squads. And Asha calling in the recon plane, seeing what's going down at this stage. Tank gun losing sight of the Panzer IV. Double tanks in the south for Inca. Feels so horrible playing. Oh, this could be a kill. No, jumps out of the building in the nick of time. So horrible trying to fight while the recon plane's up. There we go, anti-tank gun gets bombed out by the frag bombs. Stewart getting knocked out by the Pack Panzer IV combo. And Asha turning the screws. Gonna go for the kill on the decrewed anti-tank gun, it looks like. Have to be so careful while those recon planes are up. Your opponent has so much sight on you. That's what I was just trying to talk about before that happened. It makes it extremely hard to do anything successfully. Such a large area of the map in 1v1 as well. Uh-oh. I think he's going to get in Fausting range. Decides to give up though. Doesn't want to suicide the squad for the Faust. Triple Panzer IVs now for Asha though. It's going to be very hard for Inca to overcome. Inca really struggling for manpower. Could just about build a Jackson if he had the manpower for it. Calling in the cluster bombs. Panzer IV in trouble from the bazooka fire. Dropping a couple of bazookas. Another Panzer IV coming in. Suppression kicking in on the bazookas, that's why he retreated them. But the Panzer IV survives. Inca having to pull back. Oh, coming out worse for wear in these tank trades. I think he went for an attack ground. Asha not overcooking anything, just playing tight. Triple cap running, looking grim for Inca. If he still has anti-tank gun, he'll be able to mount a pretty effective defense against this, but with double machine guns suppressing the bazookas, bazookas getting chopped up by the LMG Grenadiers. Every time he wants to do damage to these tanks, he's losing like 75 manpower or so. Or even more, perhaps. If it's on like the lieutenant, we'll just average it out to about that. There we go, 2 moles down, may lose a third. Just to do 1/3 health damage to the Panzer IV. This ends up being such a bad manpower trade every time. Oh boy, hits a Talamine in the north. Is Asha gonna respond? This tank too low on health. Maybe he feels like he doesn't even need to. Just slowly draining out the triple cap. I think they're just gonna throw in the towel there. Understandable. knew his days were numbered. So yeah, promising start to this one for Inca, but that triple light vehicle push was just horrible. As I was saying, it was at what, like 5.5-ish command points, not there for the cluster bombs. Didn't have any grenades, didn't have any weapon upgrades. So that push just went horribly, horribly wrong. This time Asha responding to it much better, going for the second pack at the earlier stage instead of trying to push forwards to that Panzer IV, and that works out really well for him. Able to shut down that attack. Inca losing 2 light vehicles, a rifle squad, and maybe something else as well. And after that, Inca just really couldn't come back into the match, unfortunately. GG. Asha takes the series 2-1. There was an opportunity here for Inca to win, but yeah, aggressive maneuver backfiring on him quite badly, and Asha playing very tight after that, not allowing any opportunities for Inca to come back. GG.